Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Pirate Prepper here. Well, the ancient Chinese comment or curse of "May you live in interesting times" seems to be coming true again. As we look at the hurricane hitting the New England, first time in 30 years, I believe. We have the debacle in Afghanistan going on. And we have some lessons learned from both of these that we should probably look at and take heed from. So one of the first things we should probably be looking at is all the people hitting the grocery stores. If you check the New England groceries, I think Rhode Island, especially where it made landfall, I believe the grocery stores are pretty well wiped out right now. A lot of stuff missing because people went and panic bought at the last moment. Well, there alone is a good reason to prep. So you're not panic buying. So you're not trying to find something when there's nothing there. So, if you already have your stockpile, if you already have enough food, water, medical, and all that sort of stuff to last you through the hurricane and the aftermath, which can be weeks to months depending on where you are and how bad it is. If I remember right, this was a Category 1, so pretty mild. But it's still worth noting that bad things can happen even from smaller storms. Looking at that situation from the standpoint of the storm is bearing down on you, and you having to go to the store to get milk, eggs, bread, and all the other staples doesn't make a lot of sense when everybody else is trying to do the same thing. So, there alone is a good reason to have stuff stockpiled. Part 2 of that, what happens if the power goes out? I mentioned that because quite literally last night, the power for 1,200 customers in this little area I'm in was out for 5 hours. Now, that's not long, unless you're trying to cook dinner while it's going on. That's not long unless your deep freeze is unplugged, your freezers, your refrigerators are unplugged, and you're starting to get to that point where things are going to start defrosting soon. Normally with like a generator, or if you're having to ration power, as it were, if you can run your freezer or refrigerator for about an hour every 4 hours, it at least keeps stuff cold, if not frozen. Just something to think about. And then we go over to Afghanistan, where bad things are happening, no matter how you look at it. Taliban taking control, wandering the streets. This is not a time you want to be going down to the local market to get food. I'm not saying America is going to become like Afghanistan, although certain parts of Chicago do seem to resemble. But this is a good opportunity and a learning experience to say, hey, I don't need to go to the store. I've got what I need right now. And I have enough to ride this out. At least until I can make an escape. So, here's 2 good examples of why having a deep pantry is advisable. Okay. Item 2. As we watch our own government ban the import of Russian firearms and ammunition, it's very interesting because some 40% of the U.S. market is made up by that Russian ammunition. We've been in a shortage for almost 2 years now, as it stands. This is not going to help any. So be prepared for higher costs, limited supplies still, because everybody's trying to get the same stuff. Everybody will still be vying for that same box of ammunition. There'll just be less boxes and more demand. So, something to think about. And with that, banning of certain imports, banning of possession being attempted, changes in laws, changes in rulings, where a lot of people are trying to tell somebody else what they can and cannot have. Well, I look at a lot of those laws and say, why do you care what I want or have? I'm not hurting anybody. I haven't hurt anybody. And yet, I'm being punished for things somebody else did. It's very interesting. There's an interesting little old lady. I believe she was in her 90s at the time. She did a speech for a group, and I cannot recall which it is right now. But she was Jewish and recalling what happened prior to World War II. And the death of family and friends in the concentration camps, the inability of the people to fight back because confiscation and registration had occurred. In fact, there's several good books about the confiscation of firearms by the Nazis. And there was an interesting story about a gentleman who was arrested while he was in line to go turn in his pistols at the police station. And he wasn't the only one. Then we have Afghanistan again. Right now, a very good example of what can go wrong. So up to this point, a lot of people kept AKs and other firearms to defend themselves. I mean, it's Afghanistan. Been firearms there for hundreds of years, legal and illegal. But now that the U.S. has bailed, the Afghan people are being told by the Taliban to turn over their guns because they don't need them anymore. The Taliban will protect them. This is the same Taliban that's been beating and raping and murdering people. I don't think there's any protection involved. I just don't think they like an armed populace. That way, everyone is truly a victim. But as that little old lady said in her speech, don't ever give up your guns. Because once you do, you are a victim. You have no defense, no recourse. If you don't have a gun, find a way to get one. Legally, of course. No point getting yourself in trouble before everything goes completely wrong. There's a lot of good articles out there on what to get, what options to have. Modern Survivalist has some very good articles on that. There's a lot of good articles on the morality of this. defense and how to live with it, to deal with it, both the legal aspect and, again, moral. Prices are up, that's true. But right now, I don't know that I'd be waiting too much longer. We don't know what's going to happen politically or on the world stage. We don't know how things are going to shake out. So if you want something, I would suggest paying the extra and getting it while you can. There's a lot of stupid bills being put out there. There's one in particular that says that anything that can readily accept a magazine capacity greater than 10 would be banned, subject to NFA registration, a $200 tax and registration for each item. Oh, and each magazine with it, same thing. That could run into thousands and thousands of dollars a year. Potentially. We'll see. Am I going to panic over that right now? No. But I am going to pay attention to it. Lesson for the day: have enough food and water stocked up so you don't have to go to the store. So you're not risking being exposed by the Wuhan flu that's going around. So you're not exposed to hurricane force winds or guys with headdresses and AKs telling you where you can go, what you can do, and beating you because of it. It's all a matter of perspective, where you're at and what you're doing. And with that, have a means to defend yourself legally. If you live someplace where it's tough to get access, do it anyway. Do it legally, of course, but do it. It's only your life we're talking about. All right, enough of a serious subject. You have a great day. Park Prepper out.